But I will tell you this, if you want somebody to really represent you, if you want somebody that really understands this issue and a whole bunch of others like it, in this race, including your current representative, you need to take a hard look at me. I will be your frontline advocate to keep DM open. Again, if the BRAC is going to happen, it's not going to happen until 2017. You can put me in office before that. Let me go stand on some desks and get some support. When I say stand on this, that's exactly what I mean. Get other representatives to get on board with this. And leadership and experience is what's needed. And in this race, I'm the only guy that's got that. Let me do that for you. So there we go. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So now we'll get to some questions. Yes, sir.
We know that the Army cannot use fixed-wing aircraft of that weight by Defense Department decree, right after the Air Force was founded. But they are using the Apache, in some cases Black Hawk, and the Marines are thinking of using the Osprey. Do we know what the cost of maintenance for these are? I know helicopters are very, very expensive to maintain. Now I know Barbara put that in his amendment, I believe, to have the General Accounting Office determine this, but is there any preliminary numbers as to the cost of maintaining these helicopters versus the A-10?
Chief, I don't have an exact number relative between the two. I mean, all I can give you is hearsay, and I've heard that they're very expensive to maintain, both the Apache as well as the Osprey. Very maintenance intensive, a lot of moving parts. Not to downplay that the role that they have unique missions as well, and do a very vital role in multiple areas, for the Army and Marine Corps, as well as Air Force Special Ops.
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Parker Tibbetts. I'm a veteran, U.S. Army. I want to partially address what this gentleman said about the Apache. The Osprey, I don't really care, but the Apache and the Warthog are directly complementary to each other in their pros and cons of, and I can't see either one of them from personal experience being eliminated in reality. There is just no way. I'm primarily here for the A-10 support. However, your statements about the potential BRAC, something that really peeves me and should everybody else in this community is the very visible tens of millions going into upgrading that base. So if they're talking about a BRAC, not only are we losing a third to half of the economy in this city if they were to go, we've got tens of millions going into that base there right now that in a couple of years go down the tubes. That doesn't piss anybody else off? It sure does me.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you what, I'll just pile on a little bit if it's okay with you, sir.
Go ahead, sir.
Not just the facility upgrades that you're seeing out there. That's, and obviously that's military construction and those other kinds of money. But I will also tell you that, and Colonel can talk to this a lot better than I can, but there's also been extensive modifications, or actually modifications done to the A-10, and they're not even complete yet. And the A-10 is paid for, but the modifications to replace the wing section, I think maybe some avionics or something. But anyway, so these are your tax dollars. They don't always make sense when they make these. So yeah, we're there, and this is why we need to point these things out to them from a very, very real, very, very concerned citizen point of view, because these are your tax dollars that they're talking about using.
The airframe, the A-10 airframe has undergone, like the chief said, a lot of upgrades since Desert Storm. And what I will say is today, definitively, factually, in regards to close air support and combat search and rescue, it has by far more technology than any other fighter in the Air Force inventory. The capability of the airplane, to include the sensors, are better than the F-35 has right now. So we as taxpayers have invested a tremendous amount of money and time in making that airplane even better for our brothers, our daughters, and our sons on the ground. It doesn't make any sense from a fiscal point of view that you've made all this investment in an airframe to get rid of it before you've gotten the full useful life out of it. The useful life is 2035. And up until about a year and a half ago, that's how long the Air Force planned on keeping it. So from all those mission types, the airframe is by far ahead of all the rest. And I'll give you an example. The airplane has a helmet-mounted cueing system, which if you were to visualize, it's a clear monocle that the pilot looks over his right eye, and everything that's in the cockpit he can see ground stabilized through this monocle. Very sophisticated piece of equipment. It is so good, and we've had it now for a year, and it makes a big difference in the aircraft, because you've got a ton of information here, and it takes all that information and puts it out there where the fight is, which is outside. The F-22, which is the most advanced fielded airplane that the Air Force has, is just now beginning tests on the same helmet system I just described that the A-10 has had for over a year. So when I say that it's on the leading edge, another great example is combat search and rescue. It has a radio that is installed in the airplane that has been tested and fielded, and this radio is the only platform that can interrogate a handheld radio without using voice in the entire Air Force. The only radio. So when the Air Force says that the airplane is outdated, it's not keeping up with technology, that is simply factually not true on any level. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Chuck, have you been in contact with the DN-50, and if so, what actions have they taken similar to what we're working on right now?
I have not been personally in contact with them, and again, I know that they're working, but I don't know what is actually being accomplished. All I can tell, all I'm doing here today is reporting